Welcome to Primal Verses Analysis and Review. We are on Chapter 3, What is Life? I hope you enjoy this image. All right. A man thinking, what is life? Yes, there's lots of things to be said. And so we shall begin with the first verse. Spirits bow their last energy in hope to restore order. Little did they know that the heaven's gate has collapsed. Angel's Manuscript, passage 25. Well, as always, the intros first are free to express their own opinion. It's just an expression of what is life. It is a question mark, and so are the spirits and the angels in expression of what is the meaning of life. Basically, we separate or enter the level of divinity by having the first verse. It is an expression. There's not really to be said the meaning of it. It just sets the tone that we talk about something serious here, I guess. That does not begin with the life of a human, but enable life for something greater. Now, let's go into the verse 2. When the day no longer fills us with the joy of living, and every passing moment becomes a bitter taste of air. Why would they say those things? Unfortunately, life is not always happy, and there are struggles along the way. In most of the cases, every one of you are probably struggling with your life just like everyone else. Whatever it is in your life is, the status, position, money, or presence, life, youth, age, there are struggles because we have achievements or goals that we're trying to strive. And these goals, even the lack of goals, are creating problems. And I'm setting the tone with this verse that basically no matter what happens, even the days no longer fills us, when we lost the purpose, we lost our meaning of life. And then the joy is living, with the joy of living. So when our life that we enjoy, supposed to enjoy, no longer enjoyable, right? In every moment, taste a bit of air. I think you can understand what I'm trying to say here, in a sense that when everything feels wrong, when they should be good, we have a problem. And that also comes with what is the life? Because we lost the meaning of life to ourselves, to giving a goal, so to speak. So chapter 3, what is life? One must ask oneself, what is the purpose of the living? To live and die, or maybe fall in love. It doesn't matter. Some seek the knowledge and others seek the power. What I do know must be inside of me forever. So as I said, what is life and purpose are somewhat interconnected, but we must ask this ourselves. What is this? What is it for ourselves? And honestly, we are trying to describe in this verse that everyone is trying to be different. Thank you. In a sense that everyone's trying to find their own path along the way of what is life. Some seek knowledge and others seek the power. And as you can see in the world, the variety and diversity of humanity, they all have their own meaning, what is life to them. And so we must be personal in finding that is something. You must be content, happy, inner happiness, so to speak, that drives you within your life. And that is why the final two lines of the stanza is, but what I do know must be inside of me forever. Because whatever is in you must be inside of you forever. It is kind of like an internal secret that you must be within yourself, that allows you to be who you are, that drives you in life. A goal, purpose, intertwined. It's like almost like a soul. And that is why and what is life is kind of have to be individual in a lot of sense. So now we continue to the next stanza. The passion, lust, and life are all but one still calling to think beyond our simple mind that drove us all to fire. Again, so in this particular stanza, since it was written sometime while ago, in here we speak of the concept that whatever is driving us, whatever that's still calling, is the essential. But it is, of course, the danger, because we become extreme. We lose track of the bigger picture. We become too focused, too narrow-minded, and it often leads to problems. A bad mistake that drives us deeper into the hole, a wrong choice that makes us cannot correct, lacking, sacrificing, and thinking our happiness may be not relevant as we try to grind for our life, achieving objectives and goals within life, thinking that sacrifice is essential. So these simple things that drive us all to fire, to danger, to consequences that may not lead us to happiness or to the life that we want necessarily in the end. We cannot stop our breathing, and even if you could, would you choose your death in such a manner? I guess we're slightly transitioning from the danger is that we have to keep on struggling. It is unfortunate choice that we have to make, that no matter what, regardless, the path that we chose for ourselves, we have to see through. There's no going back. And if we are somehow delayed or wrong, there will be consequences. You cannot ignore your inevitable conclusion of what you meant to be. It's just inevitable. You have to fight through it. And you should not choose your way of not breathing. So basically, suicide, so to speak, when things are tough or too hard to go on, that is not bad. It is necessarily, I wouldn't say evil, but necessary hardship for you to become who you're meant to be. And this is kind of trying to imply that a diamond is really shaped into a diamond because of the pressure it has been applied through time. I say we breathe a little longer and taste the air so that one day, in final moment, we will let go our precious body and see how wonderful we are. In some ways, in what life is letting go, letting it take its course, and necessary to keep on fighting one day at a time, one step at a time, whatever it is that is in your kung fu, so to speak, whatever the daily, hourly, minutely grind is for yourself and for me. And at the end, when the final moment comes, we should all be great about our own body, who we are, because that is our temple, our manifestation. Sometimes the manifestation of who we are is challenged by the external, but it is still up to us to fight and define of what we are internally, a manifestation of through the metaphysical, if you will. Few will regret a lot of things. Some will think and simply smile. Others will forever dream of what they were and what they will become. Again, it's sort of like a reflection of ending, because what life is often be drawn at the end of life, not necessarily at the process of life. It's easy to live right now in the moment. We're all breathing and life is just happening. There's nothing you can do. You're just there. But the reflection from the end of it is another objective, because life, unfortunately, has an end. And it is, of course, necessary, but not necessary in the sense of like life. The end happens because we have to eventually move on from this dimension or transcend into something else. It's up to us to determine our own evolutionary step in that regard. But regardless, our end or expected end helps us to define possible outcomes. And that is what we are deriving from, that everyone will have their own conclusion about their own life and what they've done. But it seems like if you remember chapter 2, about the purpose and what life is, if you combine these two, you can see that going for a goal of inspiration, going for the reach of what you want to become in life, and striving forward, regardless what there be, honestly with yourself. No matter, you don't need the outcome. You just need to be earnest with your pursuits. The outcome will just moderately matter because you've done what you must do, what you could have done. And so, in the conclusion, I'll never leave nor disappear, because one day we'll read and understand that our lives are free of fear. That's right. And what life is just, you can turn it however you want and think of it. But in simpler terms, you can say it is, in the end, kind of like a game. All things don't really matter. You can't take all your wealth with you when you die. So you shouldn't be focused on the necessary material. You should be always, most often, focused on the core of who you are, your emotional balance. If possible, we are humans and we tend to go emotional effects that affect us, whatever it may be in the moment. But in the end, what matters is that we are letting go of the fear. You should not necessarily be afraid of your life that you're willing to live for. And what matters here is that you pursue the life you want to live, even if it gets you nowhere. That's not the point. The point is just striving. The strive itself is what defines the human will. And we're going to talk about will later. It's the connection of the ability and decision of the connectivity of conscious choice that me, in this moment of time, will choose to go somewhere. And the consequence is not really relevant as long as I'm not doing something illegal or, in a sense, like bad stuff. I'm, hurting people. That's not exactly what I'm trying to say here. It's constructive, inspirative way where you encourage people to grow and expand in your own way personally. Build, construct, create, these kind of effects put matters to life necessary. So that's what I'm trying to say, that you shouldn't, that is what life is. It's not about the goals. The goals themselves come from different forms. What matters is your effort, your honesty to yourself. That word, I believe, is what life is in the end. And of course, if you have your own way of interpreting it, I'd love to hear it. And most importantly, you're free to write it in the primalverses.com or the app. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed chapter 3 videos. I think it's very fascinating. I hope you enjoyed the visuals and preferably like the audio as well. And I'll see you next time here.